one knows. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown.
Good day, everybody. How is everybody's Sunday, I believe? Why can I never know what day it is? I literally just sat down 3 minutes ago. Busy, busy, busy. I am feeling better. It's the first day I haven't been hugging the toilet, so I got some staining done. So that's good. Yeah, beautiful day here. And Colleen, good to see you. Hey, Shy. And Carrie Bailey, good to see you. Hey, Tam. Little Red Corvette. I happen to love your name. Prince. Am I right? Amazing. Um, Not the news we were hoping for via HRP release Halifax update. Remains located in search for missing newborn baby. Yes, I do have those screenshots. I will pull them up. How horrific. Lilbet, good to see you. Truth and Beauty, thanks for joining today. Hey, Marie. Leanna, good to see you. Hey, Camille. Camilla. I don't know why I can't get that. Camille. Share cares. Thanks for being here. After hearing the name of the two charged in the newborn case, the first thing my spouse and I thought was honor crime. Hope we are wrong. Well, okay, so just hear me out here. If it was an honor crime, it's obviously a crime. If it's an honor crime, at least we know the motive behind the monster, and it's a senseless act in our society, but much less terrifying than if somebody had done, something worse, This is just heartbreaking. Angelina, good to see you. Hey, Nancy. Susie Mac, good to see you. Hey, Mustang Girl. And Seaweed, thanks for joining today. Hey, Cindy Sperry. Hope you all had a lovely day. Beautiful weekend in Nova Scotia. Pool's been up for a couple of weeks and a quarter full now. What do you fill it up a little bit and then wait for it to warm up and then fill it up more? What do you mean quarter full? Did anyone see the Daniel comment and response from MOS? Who is he dating that is close to the case? I don't know. I thought he was dating Christine. I have no insider information on Daniel's love life. Lots of terribly spooky things happening in Nova Scotia. Absolutely. Cindy B, thanks for being here. And who else? Sinister, good to see you. Hey, Jeannie, just Jeannie. Gaspé Gal, good to see you. Hey, Nana. And who else? Donna, great to see you. Hey, April. Hope you're enjoying your move. It's my least favorite thing to do in the entire universe. Matt is a catter. Thanks for being here. Hey, Tom. Great Wolf. And Carrie. Hey. Well, thank you. I actually, you know what? Today I have makeup on because I look like the land of the living, or sorry, the land of the dead. Just not good. but thank you. I had some kind of a stomach bug. I think the worst of it's over now. But it's been a brutal couple of days. Lots of sleeping. Number 1 month. Thank you, Leanne. That's awesome. Jessie D, hello. Donna Landry, good to see you. New Brunswick. I love that you love the show. Hey, Autumn and Nurse. Thank you so much for that. Hey, Ange from UK. Wow, it's awesome. Yeah, I think we were all kind of hoping when you have a mother, though, that who'd just given birth, who's in critical condition, I think, unfortunately, it was very, um, I don't know. For me, I just, I kind of knew where truth. Good to see you. Hey, Mama Angie, thanks for coming in. Wow, that's a bit much. What's a bit much? What did I say? Did I say something bad? My bad. Bobby Joe, good to see you. I'm avoiding commenting on this. I can't be respectful in any way if that has happened. Yeah, I don't expect anybody to be, because Canada is a melting pot, and I guess we have to respect other religions and all the rest of it, but there's something wrong with that in this country. Anywhere but in this country. Kaylee, thanks for being here. Hey, Roots. Working at a convention with one earbud so I don't get in trouble. Seaweed again. Monsters is considered reliable now? Me, I don't know. Peace, Spice, thanks for coming. Sam A. Girl, Sammy, Miami, 1991. Cute. Hey. Bev, good to see you. Hey, Leslie. Adele, senseless, wondering if it has to do with the cost of medical care for immigrants. The medical examiner will be able to determine if the baby was stillborn or not. Yeah. I mean, there's many possibilities and we shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. But, you know, it's sad. I didn't kick you out. You're green to me. I see you green. I don't know. You're green for me. Susanna for Christ. Good to see you. Hey, Christina. Plot twist? I don't know if it'd be a plot twist. It would just be kind of a vindication for a lot of people who have suspected for quite a while, I think. Many still believe the girl found unalive in the Walmart freezer also was an honor crime. I heard about that. I didn't look into it. It might have just taken a minute for you, Leanne, for it to, you know. And honor crimes are rare. Yes, exactly. We shouldn't jump to conclusions. What were you doing here, Streamlabs? Justice for Jack Lily. Hello, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Sea Legal. Nice to see you today. Did you bring out Cover the Toronto Missing Teen, Esther? New info and flyers were released today. No, I didn't. I've really been, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. My health hasn't been the greatest lately, put it that way. So just trying to keep up. Very traumatic for that young woman. Angus, thank you for joining today. Pretty Birds, Nova Scotia. There has been 3 or 4 cases of human trafficking in Nova Scotia and fires also. So many arrests and drug charges. Lake Lady, good to see you. Hey, Gypsy Flo. What case is this? I'll pull up the screenshots here. Are you talking about the newborn? Let me know if you're talking about the newborn. They did say the mother's condition doesn't appear to be criminal. Really? Oh. Oh, in the Esther case, we'll have to look into that one. I will send you some info later. Yeah. I think we've kind of got a full plate for today, and then add on a little bit that I'll read about the little baby. It's not a new article. Well, it's from May 5th, I think, but I haven't seen it covered anywhere else. And for whatever reason, but I think I want to read it and I want to talk about it. And then I don't know if everybody here went and watched the crash, that documentary on Netflix, Mackenzie Shirilla. I remember hearing about this when it first happened, and I thought, I honestly didn't follow it at all. Didn't watch a thing about it because I remember thinking, oh, that is tragic. She must have had some kind of a mental or, medical episode. Something must have happened. And then I watched the documentary because I was peer pressured into doing it. And now I'm just like, what the fuck did I just watch? My gosh. Um, yeah. Yeah. And that's where I'm going with my opinion. When are parents going to start being held accountable? I don't know that we can go all the way that far with this case for the actual crime, but there were signs, and the mom's victim impact statement in court was, I don't know, to me, it just kind of, it screamed, what did it scream? It was just, it was almost like a vision into their life, their attitude towards their daughter and her behavior, just excuse after excuse after excuse. And it's like, I wonder why this kid is the way she is. So, peer pressure. I said it. I said what I said. Charmaine Mods in chat. Good to see you, Carla. I'm sorry, you guys. It's crazy. It is. Thank you. Bonnie Garrett, good to see you. Okay, let me pull this up and make sure I can. Yes, okay. Let's pull this up and then we'll see what we think. Oh. Yeah, hey, Peace Spice, like exactly where I'm going with my way of thinking. They gave her a car. They knew, and they were okay with her being a pothead. You can't tell me that her parents didn't follow her on Instagram and TikTok and saw all of the little reels that she would post of herself smoking, not even little joints, big gagger, you know, like she was a habitual impaired driver, and proven because she would do it and then post these videos. Ugh, yeah, this morning I found Dom's sister's podcast or YouTube channel. It is Unhinged Sister. Can't remember. We'll look at it later. But yeah. Yeah. 100 miles an hour, Marie. No sign of letting up off the gas pedal into a brick wall. Isn't that what it's called? My ex, he was like a huge pothead, and he used to call the big ones gaggers and the little ones penners. So that's how I know. Um, anyways, Shirilla the killer. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. There needs to be a tighter leash on kids when it comes to social media. Yes, I agree. However, when you're perfectly okay with your child smoking dope, which is a personal choice. I don't know if it's legal there. I think this was what, in Ohio, but it's a choice if it's legal. What's not legal though is to um be impaired when driving. And many, many videos were posted of her smoking dope and driving her car and commonly speeding with her car. There was one video, Vinny brought it up. She was traveling at like 90 or 100 miles an hour, and I know us in Canada we go kilometers, miles an hour, steering with her foot. This girl was a menace, and I'm telling you. Anyways, let's pull this up about the baby, and we will read it so we can move on to this article that was sent to me by Pumpkin Spice. Full credit, but yeah. So let's have a read here. So this is While We Wait. HRP release update remains located in search for missing baby. The search for a missing newborn baby in Halifax has concluded. Human remains of an infant were located. New information redirected the search to Prospect Road and the surrounding area today. Remains were located approximately 3:20 p.m. in a wooded area off of Old Coach Road. The Nova Scotia Medical Examiner Service will be conducting an autopsy to determine the cause and manner of death. The 23-year-old woman in hospital remains in critical condition. Police believe the woman experienced a medical emergency and do not believe her condition is the result of violence. On Saturday, 4 people known to the woman were taken into custody for questioning. 2 have been released and 2 have now been charged. Sukhpreet Singh, a 23-year-old man who is a relative of the woman, and his wife, 26-year-old Ramandeep Kaur, will appear in Halifax Provincial Court on Monday to face the following charges. Concealing the body of a child, obstruction, indignity to a dead body. The investigation remains ongoing. Police extend condolences to the infant's loved ones. A quote from Chief Don McLean. Moments like this are among the most difficult for first responders. We feel the weight of the loss and are grieving with the community while working tirelessly to find answers. My sincere thanks go out to the officers and ground search and rescue teams for their dedication throughout this challenging search. I urge people to take care of themselves and reach out for support if they need it. That's terrible. So, I mean, that didn't give us a lot of information other than the mom doesn't seem to be the victim of violence. So I guess the medical examiner will figure out if the baby was alive when born. And obviously, the people charged were the ones that put that um, little innocent baby wherever it was found. Yeah, Blue Jay, welcome in. Just starting. About maybe, I don't know, say maybe 20 minutes late, almost, not even. I just read this. This was extra that I just read. It's just so sad. So, guys, let's keep an eye on this and we'll see if, if anything else comes up. Obviously, I think that if it's not criminal, chances are we are not going to hear anything else. We might hear cause of death, but if they determine that it's not criminal in nature, then there won't be any more, especially with that new bill that was passed that they're protecting children's identities. So screenshot those names now, people, so you can follow what, if anything, happens with it. Mhm. They must have had a tip because they're out there searching on the Prospect Road all day. Maybe well, there were 4 people taken into custody, so maybe the 2 people that were released actually had the information. that led the other two to speak up. You never know. Okay, guys. So, people's choice, majority rules here today. Do you want me to read this article to you, or we can get AI to read it to us? The Nova Scotia RCMP, not again. This is a judge who actually wrote this. So, and this is, I'm going to link it right now in the chat. Excellent, excellent read, but people's choice. You read it? Seaweed. Yes, you can read. Oh, for Pete's sake. For Pete's sake. All right, fine. All right, fine. Need a drink. Just a minute. Okay. Everybody, you read it. Oh, my goodness. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Where are my glasses? Pardon me for a second. Sure, they're clean-ish. Terrible. Apologize. It's not for sure you guys would be like, oh, thank God. AI can read it. We don't have to listen to Charmaine stumble through an article. That's what I thought was going to happen. So, either way, just a minute. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Here we go. Amazing. I can see. Okay. Yes, illegal. That will be very interesting. If we knew that, I think it would lead to even more speculation that it was an honor killing. However, whoever's messaging me, I can't open it right now. Okay, here we go. Ready? Has anybody read this? I mean, it doesn't matter. Whatever. Okay, the Nova Scotia RCMP, Not Again by Norman Douglas. Law 360 Canada, May 5th, 2026. Last week, as I write this on May 4th, 2026, I watched part of a press conference that made me want to puke. The subject was the first anniversary of the heartbreaking case of the disappearance of 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. And we know now they are now 7 and 5. Nova Scotia RCMP officer in charge of major crime was giving an update on the case of their investigation, which began on May 2nd, 2025. Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon, smiling, coyly grinning as he dodged legitimate questions, looked as though he was thoroughly enjoying the limelight. He will soon learn that the limelight is a fickle pleasure. It can, at the flick of a switch, turn into indecent exposure. This case has received national and international attention. It is gut-wrenching. It is gut-wrenching. All sad eyes are on the RCMP. What is taking so long? And what are you doing? Well, one of their lead investigators is doing a lot. Well, one thing their lead investigator is doing is smiling a lot. Many Canadians now thinking of the fiasco in April 2020 when Gabriel Wortman lit 16 fires and killed 22 people in Nova Scotia before he was finally caught. Over those 2 days, he was on the loose. 2 RCMP officers were shot, and 2 more fired their weapons at an innocent person who fit the description of the suspect. There was an outcry of how the police had mishandled that investigation. A public inquiry severely criticized the RCMP for failing to warn the public, poor preparation, lack of accountability, and systematic inflexibility. There were 65 recommendations targeting the dismal performance of the force. I wonder if Staff Sergeant McCammon ever read anything about that case. Here is my suggestion. The Minister of Justice should bring in an independent police agency to take over the investigation now. Let me tell you the experience I have in taking that drastic but needed action. I was the Northeastern Ontario Regional Crown Attorney from 1987 to 1989. I was the Crown Attorney in Sault Ste. Marie, but also had supervisory responsibilities for all the other offices in northeastern Ontario, including Sudbury, North Bay, and Timmins. I was in my first office one January afternoon in 1988 when I received a phone call from the Timmins Municipal Police. A constable needed authorization to release an exhibit, but the Crown Attorney in Timmins was on vacation, so he asked for mine. I said, okay, but what is it about? He said their yearly auction of unclaimed stolen bicycles was coming up, and there was a bike found in the bush in the summer of 1987 that he wanted to add to the auction. The bike belonged to a girl who was murdered. I said, after gasping, can you tell me about that? Oh, it's a murder case of a 14-year-old girl. We think it's the stepfather, but he won't confess, eh? So we can't prove it. I will spare you readers the details of the rest of that phone call, though you probably guessed that the constable did not receive my authorization. And that my next call was to track down the vacationing Crown Attorney. My third call was to the Deputy Director of the Criminal Investigative Branch of the Ontario Provincial Police. I arranged for him to send a seasoned investigator up to Timmins and talk to the Chief of the Timmins Police. It got a bit sticky, but after a few weeks of hurt feelings and resentment of my meddling, the Timmins Police turned their files over to the OPP. John Paul Leduc, 13 months after he killed her, was charged with the first-degree murder of his stepdaughter. I had handpicked the person who would prosecute the case. That could be the subject for a future article, the saga of young David Thomas, whom I had hired in 1984 as an assistant Crown. After he fulfilled his promise to work in the Sioux, he was from Toronto, for at least 2 years, he went on to the Crown's office in Toronto. He was working there when I recruited him to take a promotion to Timmins. He moved to that northern city that most people not far from Ontario only have heard of thanks to Shania Twain. I have a story about Shania Twain's in Timmins. My sisters live in Timmins. They grew up there. He served as the senior Crown Attorney there for several years, met and married his beautiful wife Shelley, a child protection worker, fathered 3 amazing daughters, one of whom is now a lawyer, was appointed to the bench in Timmins and recently transferred to the Niagara region. But I digress. I assigned David to the murder case of R versus Leduc immediately after the arrest in September 1988. In December 1988, I went to Timmins to assist with the preliminary hearing, but David prosecuted him before a jury and Leduc was convicted of first-degree murder in September 1989. The bicycle was a key piece of evidence. He appealed, and the Ontario Court of Appeal reduced the conviction to second-degree murder and allowed him to be eligible for parole after serving 20 years. This, even though Leduc had convictions for 2 brutal sexual assaults on young women in 1973 and 1977, for which he was sentenced to 7 years and paroled after serving 3. If you are shaking your head, read earlier columns I've written about our parole system. Hell yeah. I confess I only know about this tragedy from the media reports. There are likely key facts only known to investigators, but this is one of those cases that cries out for transparency of what the police are doing. It's been a year, and there are 2 little children who have probably been murdered. Have they carefully looked at the obvious suspects, i.e., the last people to see the children? If the mom and stepdad are innocent victims of this horrible nightmare, then surely police can stop the rumors and put the public at ease by announcing that they have been eliminated as suspects. Thank you. But what have the police done over 12 months if they are still suspects? And above all, after the performance by Staff Sergeant McCammon, the RCMP should recuse themselves from the investigation. The federal government has the authority and now the duty to bring in a provincial police force from another province and or the Halifax Regional Police Service. I continue to pray for Lily and Jack. Miracles can happen. I hope I'm wrong about what my gut tells me what happened. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? This judge is calling for an external police force to take over the investigation. I think it's an incredibly amazing idea because he raises a good point. Have they carefully looked into the obvious suspects, i.e., the last people to see the children? If the mom and stepdad are innocent victims of this horrible nightmare, then surely the police can stop the rumors and put the public at ease by announcing that they have been eliminated as suspects. Honestly, honestly, that's the least they can do to calm this shit down because lives are being ruined. And if Malaya is completely innocent and Daniel is completely innocent, their lives, although they probably shouldn't be because their children are gone, but they'll never be the same. They can never go on living their lives in that community if they're innocent. And you can't tell me we're 13 months almost, few days shy of 13 months. Don't tell me you haven't cleared them, because if you haven't cleared them, then what the fuck are you doing? Honestly. Mr. Hemi, hello. I saw you. I didn't see the live stream, but I saw Monsters of Chaos. I saw you got called out for. I don't understand what the thing is about mods. You mod for Wolfie, so that means you're I don't know. Welcome in though. Okay. Um Just like I say about all creators, it's good we all have open minds and welcome new opinions. It's been over a year. Maybe new police force eyes would be good. It can't hurt. 100%. 100%. And even if they don't want to hand over the entire investigation, bring in new eyes from out of province. You know, get opinions and advice from some of these retired detectives that have done phenomenal work in the past, who have moved on to being instructors and teachers of upcoming law enforcement. Bring people in, you know, because this is ridiculous. You can't set the public straight on any of the bullshit that's going on. I mean, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. I think it was better Malaya didn't search. If she did, can you imagine the public conspiracy theorists saying she planted something? Yeah, but they think the kids are alive, see legal, so what are they looking for? What are they looking for? They don't want anyone to look into their failure. Well, I think that people need to start making some noise. That rally for justice was very nice, very kind, very polite. This judge seems to be fed up. So this tells me, you guys, that you could probably get some pretty strong backing to, you know, to help make some noise. Daniel didn't attend the recent search. Justice for Jack and Lily. The entire world are praying for you. Yep. 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 So go read the article. There it is there. It's in the chat. I'd pin it, but I can't from StreamYard. Spiegel. What are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know. There's been no proof of that. Um, the RCMP should state if any of them are not suspects. They haven't done so. Speaks volumes. Not thrilled with McCammon. Yeah. Tells us most of us were right. Mm. I mean, they could, but no need, really. We've got an entire country with very talented, skilled investigators. So if Nova Scotia is at a standstill, they need fresh eyes. I think they need to do as requested, long overdue. In my opinion, I believe that the RCMP should step back and bring fresher eyes on Jacqueline release case because it's been 12 months and we still don't know where Jack and Lily is. Something else needs to happen. It does. It does. Even if the fresh eyes can't figure it out, they would be able to rule certain things out by now. And like, does that mean they have tunnel vision? You know, they just can't prove it. But this person or this scenario, we can't find the evidence of it, but this is what we think. So do we have tunnel vision? Is that what the holdup is? And that why the public is left to, you know, accuse and speculate in every which way you could even possibly imagine? There will be a lot of public outcry if the police don't solve this soon. Yeah, fresh eyes, an honest judge. Yep, far too long. Belinda said in Sunday's recent lives that she asked about Malaya being cleared, and according to Belinda, was told, yeah. I mean, that's not just, I also have a screenshot of an email from um, John Donaldson himself saying that nobody's been cleared and that nobody would have been told that from any active RCMP member in Scotland Yard. Hello, Daleen. My opinion, that's good news that the judge is requesting for RCMP to step back and to bring in fresher eyes. That's good news for Jack and Lily. Yes, but this person doesn't have involvement in the case. I think, is he retired? Oh, at the very end of this article, it tells us a little about him. Norman Douglas is a retired criminal court judge with 27 and a half years experience on the bench. His book, You Be the Judge, was published in December 2023. Yeah. I don't know. I hope more people read this article and make some noise because I agree with every syllable of it. He's right. Yes, I say they should, if they are innocent, and I would bring some dignity to those two poor missing kids, right? Mhm. I've been called worse by better. Such a sad situation with inconsistencies, etc. Poor Jack and Lily, my heart is broken. He's right about Mad Dog, how he was at the last gathering smiling, etc. That's just off, and they haven't been able to solve it. Seems very strange to me. Me too. I don't, did they actually search? I thought they were just marking the search area, which still stupid. Helicopter Grandma, thank you. If you got the membership from Helicopter Grandma, please make sure you say thank you. To use their speak, if there's no evidence of a crime, why have major crimes be involved for a year? And then if you listen to Rob McCammon, he messed up and he said, in any criminal investigation. He said that. He said those words. He absolutely did. I sure can. Well, this one, I don't think that I've seen another one since you said hello. Mhm, mhm. That surprises me. Much appreciated. Crime Science Stories, good to see you. All these egos, testosterone dudes who can't let go of a case, Sebastian Rogers, Nancy Guthrie, and this one, they need fresh eyes. They absolutely do. And like I said, if they don't want to let it go, then just bring people in. Like, what the stupid. We'd rather just sit back and allow. And it doesn't matter if you think Daniel was guilty of something or Janie or Malaya. Um, if you think Chance is involved and you think Anita is speaking the truth, then look at all of the collateral damage because not all of them, unless I think there's a couple of Anita stories where all of them are in cahoots, but there's collateral damage everywhere. So sort it out, RCMP. Like, fuck, it's ridiculous. They don't have any evidence after 13 months. It's troubling. It's troubling. It is. When it comes to body language, the detective in Spotlight has been hiding or acting to pretend he is hiding. Never seen such a nervous, shaking legs cop, in my opinion. And isn't he the acting leads behavior analyst as well? Or from that division, from that, I don't know. What was the point in that rally? Family members there not saying much or nothing. No point was made. It was very nice. It was very kind. And I know Kent thinks that he pushed them. He went to the limit. That's not demanding justice. That's asking for information nicely. I still don't know what jewels are about. Is that what that was? I don't know either. I don't get to see jewels on my end. Yeah, noise for Jack and Lily. We want answers. Do you really want answers? Get hyped up, make some noise, contact people like this judge or um I don't know. Um I wish I could say like the Canadian Gothic because he seems to be pretty on top of everything, but nobody is making noise. I don't know. Um you all are going to be on Tea Lady's block list with all these negative. Oh yeah. Mm, it's a bug. Lori, they haven't made any noise at all. I'd be livid. I would too. Ani supposedly she had mono. I think she was just too lazy to go. I thought she wasn't that mono that she was get blood work done on the 1st or the 30th or whatever it was last year. Is there such thing as chronic mono? I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. Um, this last warrant has the potential to solve the case. That's why we're seeing people scramble. With the digital forensics? Is that what you're referring to? Uh-huh. Um, YouTube gives you 300 or 350 jewels. You buy them. If you want more, you can find the jewels by clicking the gift box beside the chat box. Interesting. Interesting. I did not know that. Why do I think the FBI was brought in April 2025? I don't know. The kids didn't go missing till May. What? Not sure. I'm from UK. I followed Jack and Lily right from the start. It needs new eyes, please. Mhm. The people and family there need to go down this week and make a noise. They want new eyes on the case, demand it. But where to go, right? You would have to go. Who polices the police? That's where you have to go. That's who needs to hear you. You know, I think the RCMP are waiting to see what happens with Daniel's case, but in my opinion, it's not going to advance the Jack and Lily case. No one has come forward for a reward. No one is talking. One of these three, if not all, no. In your opinion, that's a long time to wait, though. I don't know all the ins and outs, but apparently, I shouldn't say, but you're looking at July. And even then, it's probably not going to go forward yet. It's a criminal investigation for sure. Give me the scenarios that make it not criminal. There's one. Unfortunately, the immigration families seem to want this to go away. All will remain silent and hidden, in my opinion, not including Belinda and Chelsea. Immigration families, what? Watch the original RCMP press conference. The bilingual speaker picked her lip so much she knew something then. Ken, did someone start a petition to have some other law enforcement? I don't know. I don't know if anybody has, but I also don't know if those petitions do any good. Well, how many times can they search the Lansdowne area? Like honestly, you never know. Just saying, it's possible. We need something. It's awful. What about Jack and Lily? And don't come and ask us for help with factual information, with good factual tips, if you're not going to give us any fucking information. Fed up, you guys, fed up. Something happened, no matter what it was, we still need answers. We all love these children as our own. She was so smitten by him, embarrassing, really. She barely mentions Jack and Lily. Yeah. Anyways, they're never going to do that on their own. But I don't know, like an ombudsman, maybe? Like, who would you go to? If she was cleared, the toddler wouldn't be in someone else's care a year later. Anita thinks everyone is involved. She said anyone who comes for her is involved, and that the RCMP told her that. My God. Like, it's incredible that people still listen. Incredible. Nor did they vaporize illegal. I agree. 2 children and not a whiff of evidence. Think about that. How is that possible? There has to be evidence somewhere. Yep. Unless they were taken away. And I know people think that I'm crazy, but if they're not willing to come out and say they've cleared Daniel, if they're not willing to come out and say they've cleared Malaya, they're not even willing to come out here and say that we've cleared the reservations. They're not being hidden on a reservation. They're not clearing or publicly saying anything. Maybe because they don't want to look like fools if it turns out that they're wrong. But some of these things I think are pretty easy to rule out. Truly. Truly. shows me they really don't give a shit what happens in the public. And to allow the bullshit on that other channel to continue, even though she's like adding to it, like, well, I went for coffee with the RCMP and they tell me to keep talking. Like, fuck, they did. Prove it. Record them. Or turn your camera on so we can all see what you look like when you're telling the truth and when you're lying. The area needs outsiders to protest because locals are more than aware how their police systems work and are scared. Yeah, that's true. The journalists are doing a piss poor job. I think that they've got their theories, and I think that that's what they're reporting, their angle. In my opinion, Daniel studied how to commit a crime without leaving any evidence, 100% not in the woods. Hmm. Um, San had a glimpse of a map a few times in a weird dream. I need to look at the map, maybe give a better clue. Completely agree and vision. If he took phone, they'll know spot. If he didn't, the time phone was idle gives its own clues. So we're assuming that the evidence that we need to figure this out is on Daniel's devices. His has been searched. I think this just my own speculation would assume that this new batch of warrants is for items they haven't had access to yet. The fact that he has shenanigans as his screensaver is a problem. From what I understand, it's not her. It's one of her AI creations. But if it is, that's troubling. Thank you for being a member for a month. That's awesome. The families and friends are more interested in talking on social media and making money, but not out on the street outside the police station being heard. The commissioner of police is the police. Go bang down his office door then. That's your guy. That's your guy, guys. Yeah, I don't think I don't I have no comment. Let's just move on. Email the judge. I don't think his contact info is in here. Is it? The author. Let's just see. Acknowledgements. I mean, you could always look him up on LinkedIn. Um, Norm Douglas, you guys, from Ontario. Yeah, I don't know. Messed up family should go to their MLA and speak out if they want help. But I don't think they do. I think they're perfectly happy with the RCMP major crimes progress in the case. I think it's the public that are getting frustrated, not so much the family. make that make sense. Money isn't going to bring the children home. There's been a reward out there and nothing, right? Why didn't the RCMP quarantine the place right from the start before Tom, Dick, and Harry showed up to contaminate everything and everywhere? Thank you. And why won't they admit to that? They fucked up. If there's suspicion that there's evidence out there, I think it will be opposite direction of the pipeline. Why would Janie and Daniel search the pipeline if that's where and they are involved? One thing I believe Daniel on is when he says 100% the kids aren't in the woods. Well, how does he know? Makes me think. I asked him, what made you say that? Like, how can you be so sure? And he raised his voice when he told me, because the kids are alive, Charmaine. So, no offense, but Rob Mack is no Woody or Matthew. Different strokes, I guess. I don't know. Some women like married men. I don't know. Just wondering why no one here or anywhere else is talking about the black SUV that was spotted in the area when Jack and Lily went. CRE. What? Sorry. The area was searched extensively, so they will not be found there. Even RCMP said that Daniel said that they aren't in the woods. So where are they? I think water, but I wasn't there, so just my opinion. The MLA should be able to be a voice and the Public Commission Board to report the RCMP and their lack of investigation on Jack and Lily. That's why we have, that's why we vote people in to be our voices, right? So you guys are perfectly right. I think that's the next step for the public, for the locals, if that's true. Yeah, it's like I said, I'm pretty sure it's the one. Remember, I don't know if everybody saw, but I used to be part of that group, and then I saw what it was about, and I left. But before I left, there was a picture, an AI photo of Rob at a podium with a bunch of large-breasted women, AI'd around him. And from, I mean, rumor has it that's the one he has as screensaver. I don't know. Read the book A Mother's Betrayal or the one on the mass shooting. 22, whatever it is. I've got this one. Still working on it. I tried listening to her last night, asked a question about Malaya. I was ignored. At least you weren't blocked. Especially the abduction. I still feel this teacher who disappeared and was in contact with Malaya the day the kids went missing and Belinda's after. Someone needs to do more in this part. Their premier, the MLA is the premier of Nova Scotia. Sad part is if they are found unalived, how will law enforcement be able to prove anything due to the state or charge due to their state or charge anyone? You're not wrong. There has to be evidence, especially in this day and age, right? But tell me why they can't rule anything out after 13 months. They had no problem saying that they didn't have any evidence of an abduction. Can they come out and say, we have no evidence that they're being hidden on a reservation? We have no evidence that um, some of the shit Anita's saying. Why do blah and blah think Daleen should be arrested? What the heck? Didn't you hear? Daleen made Jordan contact Anita to verbally attack her and threaten her. That was Belinda and Daleen, according to Anita. They're delusional. One's deranged and the other's just whipped. Whatever. Said what I said. I think exactly the same. I think they're taken away. As Malaya said, she had a plan according to what was said. Brings me to my next point, you guys. I want to just wondering because I've heard yet another story recently about Malaya. What was it? She was up with Daniel, sitting at a table at 4 a.m. Did anybody hear this? Where did I hear that? I heard that somewhere. Heard it somewhere. So I'm going to go here and go. I haven't even looked it up. I meant to, but then I ran out of time. So we're going to look it up together today. Penalties for lying to the police in, no, might as well do it. Scotia. Oh, AI is thinking. Let's go big or go home. Lying to police in Nova Scotia is governed by the Federal Criminal Code, which applies uniformly across Canada. Depending on the nature of the lie, you can be charged with public mischief, obstructing justice, or fabricating evidence. Penalties range from summary convictions up to 10 or 14 years in prison. I don't want to no offense, I'm going to do this and I'm going to put this over here and let you guys watch this. I pull up my Google Drive because back in the day, do you guys remember I had Travis the lawyer on with me? My good friend Travis the lawyer. He was good enough to go through those court documents for me. And no, where'd it go? Oh, did he remove it? I'd be so upset if he did. I don't think so, though. He might have. Just give me a sec. Because I want to pull up the court docs, because that, for me, is the version of Malaya's story that I'll be going on. What is going on, Mr. Travis? Public access to court. That's not it. Or did I share with him and then he went in and I can't remember. Whatever. Let me go to my drive and I'll search it. He was good enough. Jack and Lily docs to go through and he highlighted some stuff for me. Anybody remember which one had all the statements in it? I can't remember. That's why I wanted Travis's because he had it all. All right. I will pull this up because I found it. I need to stop sharing this to share this. I just hit chat. You guys are probably telling me everything. Where's Melissa been? She's at work. Yes, they did. And they gave their blessing to private searches to go to that area as well. I don't know why everyone is riled up at Anita. Why are the people she's talking about not doing something then? Durwood is still walking about, and Sunny is promoting Zach, the scammer. She promoted DT. Um, Not interested in talking about Durwood or Zach. I've said everything that I want to say about Anita and what I think of what she's doing. I gave her a fair share or fair shake. If you want to believe her and that's your bag, that's for you and on you. But I, I'm not even going to entertain anything that she says unless it's insults to me or anybody else in my circle. And then I'll stoop to retaliate. But Anita has no place for conversation here. Charmaine, in my opinion, I believe that either one of the kids were taken off the property and shipped somewhere else, or they actually walked off the property and probably got picked up by somebody. Maybe. Hello? She replied to a comment on your chat to me. I tried to reassert, but kindly, as in my opinion, she may be mentally ill. If I'm right, shame on Body Boy for using her. Nobody. It's not accurate. I don't think it was Daniel. I never have, but it maybe has an idea of what happened, but it's not him. Malaya herself said he was good to her kids, so why is she lying? The Guthrie case couldn't be more different and yet much the same in that how does this happen without evidence nowadays, right? And if law enforcement is struggling so terribly with these cases, then bring in the fresh eyes, allow other investigators to come and take over, you know. Both RCMP and Search and Rescue had issues with cell phone connections out Lansdowne. Doubt they could have tracked cell phones as reception sucks out that way. Did they have to, I don't know, if they had their, I don't know, but like Daleen was saying, like if you have time where the device is idle, um, there could be clues in that information as well. But like I said, they've gone through Daniel's, Malaya's, the kids' tablets, Janie's. I think they're broadening that search effort into other people's digital footprints, I guess. That's what I think, but I don't know. But I would go to Ontario before I do that, because again, if we really want to look deep into that case, it was a shit show. It was a shit show, and it was let to go on for far too long. He was only connected to, or sorry, convicted of 6 murders when he was a confessed murderer of 49 women. Um, they mistreated witnesses because of their past, because of their whatever. There's not a stellar performance either. That man was allowed to go around killing women for decades. So no. I would go to Jim Smith in Ontario, the person who, well, he interrogated. Why can't I think of his name? Such a monster. Terry Lynn McClintock, Michael Rafferty. Uh, but then he interrogated Russell Williams. That's the guy. I have to admit, I'm so confused with all of this, all of it. What a shit show. Yeah. Yeah. Drone searcher, thanks for joining. Hmm. The Public Commission Board is how you report the police. They have citizens and police on this board, and they investigate the police work. Anything to do with public inquiries? Because again, that whole thing, that whole Portapic thing, that that lessons learned through the public inquiry was, I don't know, I thought it was, and just my own personal opinion, I thought it was very misdirected, you know. I mean, obviously the things that they spoke about were very important issues, but they left out a lot. Unfortunately, there's nothing anyone can do because the RCMP is useless and has no leads. They fumbled this from the first hour they responded to the house, and unfortunately, this will go cold. Uh, Durwood didn't do even close to the shit Anita's doing. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I appreciate that, Helicopter Grandma. Thank you. It's very nice of you. It's either parent did it or small chance stranger abduction. But if Daniel's car was heard doing trips through the night, then abduction is definitely ruled out. So only one possible scenario. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just don't think Daniel was smart enough to outsmart all of them. No offense, Daniel, but I just I can't get on board with that anymore. Department of Justice. The Department of Justice is responsible for administering the province's justice system. The Attorney General for Nova Scotia is Scott Armstrong. Go to the top. Calling on root strength again. Maybe we should take this judge's letter and link it into a community letter or another template, to make it be known that, it's not transparency anymore. It's fresh eyes. You know? Rules need to change. A missing persons case it should start off as criminal and work. They do, generally speaking. I mean, they might not. They have to treat it like a criminal investigation until they prove that it wasn't. I mean, the steps should be the same. Like everything needs to be secured. You know, areas need to be searched and protected. Evidence gathered. Statements taken. Does it matter that in day one, if it's criminal investigation or missing persons act investigation? It shouldn't. Not in my head. I said they fucked up first time I seen the case because it wasn't roped off. And we heard. People have been very public about how when I got there at 10 o'clock, I was there at 12 o'clock, I was there at 1, I got there at 2. It's everywhere. Maybe the RCMP know that the children didn't return home from New Glasgow? Maybe. I don't know. Has Daniel explained why he picked up Chance and Adam on Saturday? Why were they needed when hundreds of real searchers were out there? I never asked him that, Christina. I I never thought about it because, you know, I think that it's fair to say that in the beginning Daniel had this hero complex, and I think it's fair to say that he he talked as though he was more capable of going through those woods and finding anything than the searchers. I think that's fair to say based on his attitude in the interviews that we have seen and my first conversation with him. So maybe he thought and I shouldn't say because I've never thought to ask him, but most normal people I think would want support. And if he thought that he was better suited to find anything out there, maybe he wanted his superhero friends to come as well. And that's no shade on Chance or Adam, but you know what I mean? I think it has a lot to do with the hero complex, I think. Um, fictional drama about police anti-corruption unit, brilliant line of duty. Was this back, is it very old? Because we did watch one that was phenomenal. And then also the Thin Blue Line as well was also very good. All documentaries and stuff that watched in college. I'm pretty sure I've answered this for you before. It was a neighbor. The RCMP stopped at the house and confirmed it. The wife posted on Facebook in the early days. It's not that, Ron. It's not that, but you can, and anybody that's coming in should be able to understand that, okay, well, we need your name. And this is the route you take to get into the trailer. We've already cleared the trailer. You can go in now. That's where mom is. But they have to protect that scene for evidence. It's not accusing them of committing a crime. It's protecting the scene so they can find the kids. And anybody that would be offended by that, take them in for questioning. He knows they're alive but has no clue what happened. They're not going to admit they effed up. Although some humility can do everyone some good, I still believe the same thing I always have, and I really think law enforcement know much more than we know. I agree, and why can't they just clear some of this shit up? That's never gonna happen. You hit the nail on the head. The family is happy with the status quo. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Um, you guys are way. Hey, Kim. I feel the RCMP botched this case of Jack and Lily. Anita is off her trolley. Yeah. Okay. What was I doing before? Oh, right. Okay. Malaya provided 4 statements to police. 2 statements were provided on May 2nd, 2025, one on May 3rd, and one on May 4th. The following is a summary of what she said. On the day Jack and Lily went missing, she heard them playing in the other room and was going in and out of sleep. Lily came in the room around blank a couple of times. Daniel was sleeping the whole time and didn't really wake up. She didn't hear them around anymore around blank. So she got up and they couldn't find them, so they called 911. The police came and got statements. Everyone was frantically searching for them. Malaya did not think this would take days. Malaya discussed what happened earlier in the week. The kids went to school on Monday and Tuesday, but Wednesday was a professional development day, so they were off. She kept them home on Thursday and Friday. Malaya said she doesn't remember what they did on Wednesday. Specifically, she gave a detailed description of what happened on Thursday. Malaya kept Lily and Jack home from school on Thursday morning because they had a cough. She contacted the school through the app at 6:18 a.m. The kids got up and came into their bedroom. Meadow was already up and in bed with Malaya. They got up and headed out to get the kids breakfast. They wanted the TV on and they wanted to play with their toys. Everyone woke up around 9 a.m. Malaya said she tidied the house throughout the day and looked after the kids. She said she also scrolled on her phone, and at one point because she was overstimulated. She had blank in the New Glasgow in the afternoon on Thursday, and she and Daniel went with all the kids. They drove her 2017 white Nissan Pathfinder. They went to the big stop for gas, and she thought they might have gotten the kids bagels at Tim Hortons. Daniel stayed in the car with the kids when she got blank. Then they went to a Starbucks drive-thru before going home. In the evening, she was going to do some cleaning, but she was too tired. The kids were watching a show on TV. She put Lily and Jack to bed first, then Meadow, and then went to bed herself. Malaya said they were late getting to bed that night and went around 9 p.m. They usually go around 7 p.m. Lily was wearing a pink sweater and pink pajamas with white shapes and a Barbie top with pink socks. Her hair was shoulder length and her backpack was beside her. Jack was wearing black sweatpants, a t-shirt, and a diaper as he was only partially trained. Daniel stayed up. He said he was going to clean the house for her, but it wasn't clean when she got up, so she doesn't know what he did. Normally, he did little projects around the house at night and fixed things. Redacted. Malaya said she was not woken up throughout the night and does not know when Daniel came to bed. So, that's what I'll be believing. She doesn't know what time he came to bed. She slept through the night. Um, that's what I'm going to believe. Too many stories from people saying that they heard that Malaya said, you know, till I hear it from her and so many different stories. So we saw, I mean, if you're just going to remember when Malaya said, I don't understand why Daniel is lying to the media. He's telling the truth to law enforcement and CPS. How are they supposed to know which is true and what's not? Like, how are they supposed to know? So that makes any sense. So if any of their lies or their changing of stories or anything is impeding or obstructing their investigation, they could be charged with lying or with, sorry, public mischief, obstructing, fabricating evidence. So I'm going to see if I can get them both up at the same time. I think it would be good. I think it would be challenging for me to kind of moderate that and make that happy, but I'm willing to try. It could be the RCMP or using certain experts that the Nova Scotia RCMP do not have that Ontario has. I'm going to the bottom, you guys. 170 people watching. What are you doing here? I didn't even know that. What are you doing here? I'm Damien, not Tint. Called it the other day, did I not? Told you so. I won't tell you how I know, but I know. Um, hmm. Anyways, 6 months. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for being a member for 6 months. It's awesome. Okay, just give me one sec, you guys. Is there a problem in the chat, Seaweed? I heard that Ron's grandkids walked into the bush and they were found within 20 minutes. This is like a 4-year-old, and I'm not sure how the other one was. And from what I understand, they were able to follow boot prints in the mud. Um, So that just goes to show you, had Jack and Lily walked out to the woods, would have been more than one boot print in front of the RV and another one up on the pipeline trail. That just doesn't make sense. I agree that Daniel would be better to have friends along for the search. Hidden fear of finding them. That would make me want to take friends. Cover more ground. You know, I'm not reading that. I don't even know why I clicked on it. I apologize. Malia also said she slept undisturbed. Yep. This is a summary of her 4 statements, and then she went on to talk about Friday. Um, yeah. And then the footnote. Footnote, on May 11th, 2025, I listened to Malaya's 2 initial statements taken by Constable Mason and Constable Ronigan on May 2nd, 2025, and read Constable Ronigan's report, dated the same date. I also listened to Malaya's 3rd statement taken by Constable McIntyre and Corporal Brown on May 3rd, 2025, and a follow-up 4th statement they took on May 4th, 2025. And what I just read was the summary of events leading up to Friday morning that she could remember. How do they pick the little bits of truth out of all the lies? Who are you referring to? How would Malia know what Daniel's telling the police? Apparently, she hasn't spoken to him. Good point. Malia kept them home in the first to give them the weekend to feel better before school. This is from Malia herself. Malia. I kept them home first to give them. Yeah. Very good to see you. I've often wondered if Lily thought she was going to Cindy's and that's why she had her bag. Did she say that, or was that approximately says she said? Pretty sure. I can't say. Gave them the weekend to feel better. Interesting. Was it Saturday today, Kim? No. Day is it today? It's Sunday. Thank you. I said Sunday at the beginning, and now she just had me going and looking at my calendar. Uh, uh, so I've had 15-month-old children. I don't understand how a baby at that age could go to bed at 9 p.m. and sleep in. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Hopefully I can. Hopefully I can. All the days run together anyways with all of the shit I'm dealing with. Wow. Joe Neal, good to see you. Hope everything's okay, Ron. Oh, Tiana, good to see you. Civil Review and Complaints Commission is where people do rallies to get new eyes on the case, unfortunately, in Ottawa. Gotcha. Well, like I said, that there's no harm in sending a letter. Connect that article written by that judge to it, and now we're not, rally for justice and all that stuff. I mean, it matters, and it's good to have your voice heard, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with public asking for fresh eyes. And it's just the level of frustration, I think, that makes Rob McCammon a little bit of a target because he is the person in front of the camera, in front of the microphone. Where have you been, mister? Thank you for coming. Yeah, because everybody's totally frustrated. I get it. Absolutely. Baby slept for almost 13 hours. Weird. But dragged out around everywhere when they were sick. Same clothes since Wednesday. I don't know anymore. Both very valid points. Like I said, unless I hear it from her, I just in one ear and out the other, unfortunately. I have got to stick to what she told the RCMP because this is official court record. So, and if this is lies, then there are consequences. So I'm going off of this. Nothing else matters unless I hear it from her directly. She doesn't have to say it to me, but she needs to use her voice if it even matters. Like I don't think any of this shit matters. And I do not blame her for not talking. So I heard that lawyers and PIs only use licensed drone operators. Congrats on the license, buddy. Oh, Province House, Nova Scotia Legislature. That is where people rally in Nova Scotia. Nice. Understood. I swing like a pendulum as to who I think the perp is. I used to think it was possible Daniel knew what crap caregivers they were, and that the guilt birthed the hero complex. I sure hope so, Daleen. I fly my drone over the Phoenix airport just to be a dick. That does not surprise me. Does not surprise me. I'm a little surprised that you don't have a little seat for your fucking hamsters. Guinea pigs. My bad. I apologize. Whooping cough was a concern at that time? Was? Was it? Excellent. Makes sense. Makes sense then. So, anybody want to talk about anything else before I pull up this crazy bitch? I'm just gonna let Damien answer some questions. I think they're fair questions. If he doesn't want to answer, he doesn't have to. Um, it was something that was said by many back then that there was a whooping cough going around in schools, unconfirmed internet rumor from what I know. Hmm. Was definitely going. There are a lot of locals here, and I know there are a couple of people who have children who also went to Salt Springs. So if they're saying that, then I believe them, you know. So perfectly acceptable to keep your kids home. And I mean, after COVID, if you want to keep your kids home because they have the sniffles or something, that's completely okay. Honestly, when I go visit my grandkids, and they come home from school and they're snotty and stuff. And I'm like, tell my daughter, why are the kids going to school like that? Well, they weren't like that when they left this morning. Great. So now they've caught something and it decided to come out at school. Now they're going to get all these other kids sick. Who knows which one of them got them sick, but now they bring it home to us and we get sick too. So I'm all for keeping kids at home if they're sick. All for it. Especially babies. Babies, when they get sick, their bugs are like on steroids when they hit an adult. Horrible. I bought a drone. I flew it once into the courthouse across the street and it broke. That's hilarious. Okay, like I said, I'll look at that another day. Um, um, Drone searcher is not Durwood. I could could you imagine, Mark, Durwood with a drone? The dude can't even operate a flip phone. Diane, I think underestimating how fast Daniel learns. He has been watching true crime for years. A meth head with an agenda. He is running everything he's seen in real-time scenarios. He knows the area. You are entitled to your thoughts there. And you could be right, but I'm also entitled to mine. And I just think not all of those law enforcement assets. Sorry, not sorry. Thank you. All right. The Kung Flu, yeah. No need to be coy with me. You play games like the rest of them. Going to help search does not discount that. Like you guys, you're both local, and it's a really good idea without any drama or anything like that. I don't know. I'd do it. I would love to meet some of these people face to face. I'm not as polite and soft spoken in person, but I would still enjoy a good face to face with some of these people who have so much to say, mostly about me and my personal, you know, my stuff. Anyways, who watched The Crash on Netflix? Anybody? Did anybody watch it? I need to go to. So, a lot of people who went into, who started watching YouTube True Crime started with the Jack and Lily case. So many people are new to true crime, and this Jack and Lily coverage online. I mean, there's drama and there's bullshit in every single case, but not, in my opinion, not at this level. So, um, I understand if you're not like a big Netflix watcher, if you don't go to true crime on Netflix and see what's new, but there is a new documentary. And I want to, I'm going to pull up the quick Wikipedia wiki for Mackenzie, just so I can give you a quick rundown of the case. She has been convicted. Is this it? No, that's not it. Just a minute. I have to get rid of this so that I can share so you guys can see. So our victims' names are Dominic Russo and Davian Flanagan. Okay, so the murder of Dominic and Davian occurred on July 31st, 2022 at approximately 5:30 a.m. when Mackenzie Shirilla intentionally crashed her vehicle into a brick wall in Strongsville, Ohio, killing the two passengers. Dominic was her boyfriend. Um, so she chose a bench trial only in 2023, and the judge did find her guilty and sentenced her to two concurrent 15 to life sentences. The that we're gonna play. Um, why is this doing this? We're gonna play Annie Elise. because if you haven't heard of Annie Elise and you're interested in venturing into true crime, really, really good coverage of true crime cases, Annie Elise should be your go-to for deep dives. So she covered this years ago, and she has got a huge, this is 2 years ago. See, and she's been covering this for a while. So this one here is part 2. And so this is where I want to pick it up, because there was a lot of shit that the documentary did not cover. But basically, Mackenzie is saying that she doesn't remember anything. Mackenzie, she came out of it with bumps and bruises. She had a terribly broken leg. She was in the hospital for a while, had to do physiotherapy. But again, her boyfriend and her boyfriend's friend both died. And I don't know if it's mentioned here, but some collateral information. Annie Elise, I'll post it. Just give me a minute, Lori Lynn. So the black box in the vehicle, it recorded that for a minimum of 5 seconds before impact, the gas pedal was completely depressed, like completely all the way pedal to the metal. And she was going upwards towards 100 miles per hour straight into a brick wall. And I'm pretty sure it says in here, but you really need to go and watch the Netflix documentary. But there's so much that documentary left out. Annie Elise did fantastic. I'm going to post it here in a second. Thank you again, Helicopter Grandma, for another membership. If you got that, please thank her for that. Teabags lost the plot. All right. I know this isn't for everybody, but it's crazy because of what I feel like. I want to take her parents and I want to shake them, and then I want somebody to do something about them. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Okay, I have to do my thing. I have to make it big. I have to mute myself. I have to do the thing. If you can't hear it, let me know right on. Okay? Right away. Isn't that like 140 kilometers an hour? Like, I think so. I think it's even more than that, isn't it? Isn't it 1.55 or I don't know. I don't know. Ask Ron. He'll know. Okay. Let's watch this and then we'll talk about it. And I'm gonna start and stop. 160. Thank you. Not case. Okay. Make it big. Where am I at? Right there. Make it big. Gotta mute myself and then we'll play the part 2. This part 1 is like an hour and a half long. So 170 kilometers an hour. She was the only one wearing the seatbelt. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I'm so glad that you've watched this. Okay, let's watch. And I'll stop. I'll start and stop it.
Years ago, back in 2023, someone reached out to me to participate in a documentary on this case, and with that, they sent me the police report, different reports from the prosecutor's office, all these different things, and I saved all of it. You can see here I have pages and pages and pages and pages, and I had like my notebook with that I was scribbling in feverishly, all of these things. So I was like, you know what? I want to just go back to all of that really quick because I remember there being like these really clear things, in my opinion, that were black and white that illustrated not only that she absolutely did this intentionally, but a lot of information about the parents. I vaguely had remembered some like sex work activity. There were a lot of things. So I went back through all of my documents over the weekend and earlier this week. And when I tell you, we know Netflix likes to leave things out, or they don't like to, but they have to for legality reasons. Also, you can only fit so much in a 90-minute program. But there already in the deep dive from Monday, there was so much information that I put out that Netflix didn't include. But then I was like, wait, there are 5 buckets, 5 bombshells, I should say, that Netflix left out. The biggest ones, in my opinion, that I feel like give so much more context to this case and what the truth really is. I'm talking more information about her parents, her blood sample from the morning of the crash being disposed of by the doctor, being thrown away, no blood, no drug test ordered on it, but actually like being completely disposed of. Actual past behavior allegations from her friends, which some people spoke out in the documentary. In my opinion, the majority of them were trying to protect her, but like actual testimony from friends where they verbatim say that she was constantly threatening self-harm, reference the toxicity of the relationship with Dom, and then also her own dad in the police report, which don't worry, guys, I'm going to read these documents to you like verbatim, but her own dad in the police report saying that Mackenzie did this intentionally. And we also are going to talk about that whole sex offense section that was, once again, in the whole like police write up, but didn't make it to Netflix for whatever reason. So today I want to go through the biggest things that Netflix left out. And I want to start with the parents. I have seen some stuff on social media since people have watched this documentary questioning the parents' remorse, their accountability, them trying to just protect their daughter, all of these things. But there are a few things, and I have my notes here, the police reports here, but there's a few things I want to go through with you on this because I found this information pretty interesting. And again, I think it provides context. So I want to share it with you guys. So at 9:05 a.m. on August 1st, which was the day after the crash, their police report states that her mom had said to the officers that her husband said not to say anything until they have a lawyer. We also did hear that in the documentary. But adjacent to that, she also said immediately, this was the day after the crash, she said that she was worried about the public's reaction on social media. That was her primary concern within 24 hours of the first responders arriving to the crash scene, finding out that these two boys were killed, her daughter still in the hospital. And I want to read this for you verbatim. So this was at 9:05 a.m. and it says, I have my highlighted section here. I'm just going to, go forward a little bit. So it says, I explained to her that once Mackenzie is discharged from the ICU, I would be interested in interviewing her. She mentioned that her husband told her not to say anything until they have legal representation, which, okay, fine, fair. I encouraged her to pass my contact information along to her attorney, so we agreed that I will call her next week to check on Mackenzie's status. But then Natalie expressed concern about the public's reaction on social media, as if that is like the biggest deal right now. And the reason I bring that up is because it all goes into perspective. And let me just continue on here. It's because actually, maybe, let me see. I'm going to just look at my notes. Actually, I guess I'll just talk to you about this right now. We did see in the documentary how while Mackenzie was recovering within just literal days after the accident, 2 days after the crash, I don't want to say accident, 2 days after the crash, as a matter of fact, when brands were reaching out to Mackenzie on her social media, being like, hey, can we use this photo? Can we do this? And her mom was responding as her, being like, oh my God, we would love to collaborate. Like, we've been trying to contact you. Da 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 da. In addition to that, her mom was also allegedly soliciting LA-based modeling agencies trying to get her daughter signed to a modeling agency while Mackenzie was in the hospital because she was starting to get some attention on social media. This was 2 days after the crash. Again, that's the priority. So you have her saying, we're so worried about what the public's reaction is going to be on social media, while simultaneously trying to get her daughter signed with different brands and modeling agencies. It's so gross that that is where the priority was, and that's where the focus was. Additionally, Mackenzie then, after this conversation took place, an officer went into the hospital room, started just speaking with Mackenzie very lightly, not a full interview or anything like that. And Mackenzie had
What does this mean, Mr. Hemi? What are you guys talking about? Toxicology test won't show BPD, bipolar disorder, or borderline personality disorder? What are you talking about? That's amazing. I'm glad he was found guilty. It did take a while, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it another day. We'll do like a true crime roundup, and we'll talk about all these other cases. Yeah, but so far, like I said, she goes a little bit fast, but she does a really good job. Borderline, yeah. And her toxicology, like we heard in the documentary that she wasn't impaired. She had trace amounts of THC in her system. I call bullshit because I used to do DOT drug testing, and I know that THC stays in your system for a long time, and it takes a long time for your levels to go down. And she was a habitual smoker. So that is a lie. That is not true, what they said in that documentary. But anyways, let's continue.
Told the officer that she left Rosie's house before the crash, not Paul's. Now, maybe that was just her memory being foggy. Who knows? Absolutely. But what I thought was interesting is that her mom immediately interjected to end that conversation before Mackenzie could even finish. She just cut her off and, like,
What about St. John's, Newfoundland? Cool, Jay. Am I missing something here? There's St. John's, Newfoundland. Fair, I don't know if it's a city.
cut it off, stop talking, which again, I understand you want to protect yourself legally. You don't want to say anything that is self incriminating, but it's just a lot of things that when you layer them together, it starts to illustrate, in my opinion, a pretty uncomfortable situation. So then later that same day, 1 hour or one, sorry, 1 day after the crash, the mom called the police around 8 p.m. asking for Mackenzie's cell phone. She said that she needed her phone so that she could access Mackenzie's Snapchat to get a passcode. Now, look, I don't know how Snapchat works. I thought it was for messages and photos and videos. I didn't know that you would like house a passcode in there or anything like that. But she said that she needed access to Snapchat. And she called multiple times every single day asking the police for Mackenzie's phone back so that she could access Snapchat, which my first thought went to, why does she need to access Snap? Is she trying to delete stuff? Is she trying to hide stuff? And let me read this for you. And I'm just going to read snippets of like these documents that were in the police report. But it says, Sergeant Nip called me to let me know that Mackenzie's mother, Natalie, called the station requesting access to her daughter's cell phone. She specifically wanted access to the social media app Snapchat. She said it was to receive a passcode. I told Sergeant Nip that the phone was a material piece of evidence and that it will not be released until I apply for a search warrant, which at the time was with APA under review. And then it goes on to say how she requested it multiple times, kept calling back, and like was like a dog with a bone and would not let it go. Then the following day, on the 6th of August, so now 7 days technically after the crash, her mom called the police and she reported that there were mean people on social media who were blaming Mackenzie for the crash and alleging that she had killed Dom on purpose. So again, more of like, what's the public's reaction going to be? Now calling the police, being like, they're blaming my daughter all over social media. They're saying that she did it on purpose. They're blaming her. Just once again, like, read the room. Read the room right now, given the situation. The following day, it was set to be one of the services, the service for Dom. And apparently, Mackenzie was being very combative in the hospital. She wanted to attend this funeral. They advised her, you are not well enough. You can FaceTime in. It's not a good idea. But she was so determined that she nearly signed herself out AMA against medical advice. It was so combative, as a matter of fact, in the hospital that officers ended up being called and dispatched to the hospital. They didn't have to restrain her or do anything like that. The nurse was able to talk her into staying, but she became very combative. Officers ended up being called. And that kind of takes me back to a different incident when officers were called on Mackenzie. Because in this police report, and let me pull this up, it was from back in 2020, so a little bit, a year or so before the crash. And psych was called to her house because she was threatening to take her own life. Which, if you remember in the documentary, her friends, her parents, they say she never had those ideations. She was happy. She was great. She had a beautiful life. But the cops were called and psych was called because she was making threats. And let me go here. It said, oh, well, back here from the hospital room, it said, 2 officers responded to the room where Shirilla was being treated because she was being combative. The officers stood by and they didn't take any action. Printout was added, all of these things. Female will not be. Okay. So then here is the 2020 incident. It says the call was psych related. They requested assistance from SPD. Mackenzie was reportedly threatening self-harm. She was, and the whole world, like she was threatening to take her own life. I'm just trying to like censor the, the S word on here because YouTube likes to flag me. She was not transported for an evaluation. During the call, SFD requested the SPD officers respond, so the fire department requesting that the police department respond, but no reason was given. The following disposition was then entered by the dispatcher into the call. It says, female will not be transported to the hospital. Parents do not think that her threats are real. They do not believe that she will hurt herself. So there is, in fact, a history of her making these threats against her own life. And we're only scratching the surface here. Like, just wait. So social media, she's being combative, the 2020 incident. Okay, all these things. Another thing you may have noticed if you watched the documentary is that her parents were basically like defending Mackenzie to the ends of the earth. That she was a great kid, even though she was like ripping bong hits at 17 years old every day. But like she was a great kid. She never got into trouble. She was responsible, even though I also will talk to you about potential alleged sex work in a minute here. But defending her to the death, right? Mackenzie could do no wrong. She's an angel. Well, here's how much they were defending her to the death, okay? While Mackenzie was still in the hospital, as officers were, wanting to interview people, get statements, get some sort of, pulse check on like what was going on, what was the energy like, what's her history with Dom like, was the relationship like. The mother was trying to silence her friends, telling them not to cooperate with the investigators, not to speak with them, and not to share details. In fact, at one point, too, which I'll read here in a minute, when the officers were talking to Davion's family, they had said, like, hey, have you talked to Landon, otherwise known as Bubba, which was Mackenzie's best friend, Rosie's boyfriend. They're like, have you talked to him? And they're like, oh, yeah, he actually requested to come walk Davion's bedroom the day after the crash to get some sort of peace and closure. And the officer's like, well, he's not cooperating with the investigation. He won't answer. He won't let us interview him. He won't talk with us. Then they further went on to say that while Bubba Landon was at the hospital, Mackenzie's dad went up to him and said, help me save my daughter, saying that, not, I don't know, like that was after the mom had said to all the friends, don't talk to the police, all of this stuff. And let me read this for you. It says, so next I inquired whether Davion's best friend, Landon Bubba Turner, had been in contact with them. They both, and this is Davion's parents, okay? They both stated that immediately after the crash, he requested and was granted permission to walk through Davion's bedroom as a means of seeking closure. When I informed them that he was not cooperating with the investigation, they mentioned that Landon had told them about an encounter that he had with Steve Shirilla at the hospital. He was visiting Mackenzie, and according to Landon, Steve looked him in the eye and asked him to help save his daughter. Now, this I think you can read into it a couple different ways. One, why isn't he cooperating? The dad is also asking him to help him save his daughter, which I would argue is not a passive aggressive statement, but like a statement with a significant undertone to it. And he wanted to go walk the bedroom to seek closure of his friend, yet he's not willing to cooperate with the investigation and answer any questions. That doesn't make sense. How are you, if you're so torn up about your friend's death, so much so that you need to walk his bedroom to seek closure immediately after, and you're asking his parents for that, why are you not forthcoming with the police and giving them information? Just doesn't make sense, right? So I already talked to you too about how like the priorities seem to be replying to the brands, contacting the LA modeling agencies, what the perception is going to be on social media, and her friend and her parents basically defending her to the death. Mackenzie runs the show, in my opinion, 1000% through and through with her parents. I think that she steamrolls them, yells at them, kicks her little feet, stamps her feet, and gets her way every time, because there are also direct quotes within this whole police report from the time that she was in the hospital where she was yelling at her parents, yelling curse words at them, telling them, "Get the hell out of my hospital room. Get the fuck out of here. Don't talk to the police without me." At one point, too, when the police brought what they had recovered from the car, there was like $162 in cash or something like that. And they gave it to her parents. And she said, "Put that money in my bag. Put it in my bag." Like, that's what you're concerned about when you're laid up on a hospital bed with a neck brace and, like, completely bedridden. But that's how she was. She was not physically, verbally aggressive that we know of, verbally aggressive toward her parents, spitting commands, doing things like that. This is not a typical 17-year-old girl who has rules, a curfew, anything like that. She has entitlement. And her parents, in my opinion, enabled the entire thing. They're not yelling at her. They're not here when she yelled at her dad and said, "Get out of my room." Da, da, da. He left. He scurried out of the hospital room like a little fucking pussy. Like, it's absolutely mind-boggling. Then when, like,
Mind-boggling to say the least. So here's that. Like I said, this is where do I put this? Right here. Annalise. Annalise, go watch her coverage on the case after you've watched the Netflix doc. But real quick, because I just realized we're over 2 hours already, but I want to I want to I want to show you guys just a little tidbit. These parents. At what point should parents start being held accountable for their children's shitty behavior? So this is after she was convicted, and this is the victim impact statements. The victim impact statements. This is Mackenzie's mother. This is how she chose to speak during the victim impact statement portion of the sentencing.
can you start with your name?
I just want to say, am I allowed to address them?
Sure.
I just want to say to families that I'm broken, sad, and lost. My heart hurts for everyone. Okay? Devian was a new friend.
Just hang on. I don't know why that is lagging. I'm gonna refresh.
Can you
Gonna
start with your
refresh.
name?
What's going on with my internet? I don't know what's going on with my internet. I'm gonna try to play this again.
I just want to say, am I allowed to address them?
Sure.
I just want to say to families that I'm broken, sad, and lost. My heart hurts for everyone. Okay? Devian was a new friend, and Don was the love of her life, and he was part of our family. Okay? I'm so sorry that I'm in part of that. And then, Your Honor, this was terrible, tragic nightmare accident to have happened if he has no memory of, and she will never emotionally or physically recover from it. She almost died too. And we're asking that you please not run the sentences consecutive. It was family, and we all love each other. That morning of the accident, she called. I got a phone call that there was a car accident. Okay, so we went to the hospital, and I didn't even know who was in the car. The name had not been confirmed yet, and I was driving. Missed him so much. We loved him so much. So I called down, like over and over again, praying that he was going to answer the phone, and he didn't answer the phone. So then I tried to call his mom, and she didn't answer the phone either. And I still didn't know who was in the car. I didn't even know if she was alive. I didn't know what was happening. So then we were in the waiting room. And then his mom ended up, she did call me. So I answered the phone, and I was like, oh my God, like, I don't even know who was in the car. Like, what's happening? Was that Dom? And she said, what do you mean? My son is dead. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And then she said something like, and now I have to wait until your kid's out of the hospital. And then I didn't hear the rest. I was like, we loved him so much. I hung up the phone. I did not talk about social media. I didn't even know what was going on yet. Okay. So then that was, in the hospital, that fatality post, I commented on that because somebody had called her a murderer, okay? And she's not a murderer, so she didn't even have her phone at that point because the police had still had it, okay? So, I jumped on and I was like, she's not a murderer. She's more sad than most of these people commenting. She's been trying to get in touch with you. And at that point, it was just an accident. So I commented on her behalf, not because of a modeling opportunity. I don't even care about that. I don't want them to refer to her as a murderer. Okay. And I don't even know how that comment got on the phone because the police still had her device and she could not access her phone or social media. That's why I did it. And I had called them asking if they could shut down social media because people were calling her a murderer and making death threats and organizing groups to, take her out when she got out of the hospital and stuff. So I didn't even want her phone. I don't care about her phone. I don't care about social media. I just wanted them to stop calling her a murderer so that when she did come to, and she did come out of surgery, multiple surgeries, that she wouldn't see all these people calling her a murderer. She would never, ever, ever murder the love of her life. Okay. Halloween, for 3 months after the accident, she would only wear his clothes. She would only eat the snacks he ate. She would only listen to the music he wrote. Okay. She was laying in bed for 3 months, crying. There was a shrine of him next to her with photos and things that he liked, and this flower that lights up that he got her because he wanted it to be fresh and alive forever. It's like a little Beauty and the Beast flower. Okay, he's got this shrine of him next to her. So she was crying for 3 months. So her friends asked if she wanted to go out trick or treating or Halloween, and it was OU. And she didn't even want to go. She said, I don't know, should I go? She couldn't even walk yet, barely. So I told her, I said, baby, please go. It's Halloween. You've been laying for 3 months crying, only listening to his music. Please go. Have just a moment of fun. A moment of fun. So we told her to go. My husband drove her. I brought her back home. She just needed a second of fun from losing her whole world, her whole world. So that was us. We told her to go. And that concert she went to with Dom's cousin, Abby, they picked her up. They brought her there. That was Dom, Mackenzie and Dom and Abby all decided to go to this concert together while they were in the hospital. That was poor Dom. Everything she did after the accident was either in honor of him, to be close to him, or just be by him any way that she can. She's like devastated and tragic. He was the air that she breathes. Okay, and they went with his cousin. We spent all kinds of time with him after the accident. What was the other thing?
I'm hearing an awful lot about your daughter. I'm not hearing very much about the two dead people.
Dominic, okay, I'm asking you for leniency because this was a tragic accident she does not remember. And Davion, he's a new friend. I'm so
What
sorry.
does that mean? His life is worthless?
No.
Okay.
God, no. They all love each other. They all spend every day together. You know what I mean? I don't know.
And
too
isn't
much
that part of
about
the problem, Mrs. Shirilla?
it. Sorry?
Isn't that part of the problem that they all trusted each other? Isn't that part of
It's not. It was
the problem how they all ended up in the car together and Shirley ended up dead?
I understand. I understand what it looks like. I'm not saying that it was a tragic accident.
Well, we're gonna have to disagree on it. Right, and I respect your position, but you disagree with me.
But anyway, I just wanted to address those. We told her to go to those, and then she did go with God's family. So look at that. Don't look at it look on that with different eyes if you can, please.
Those things are not relevant.
Not at all. Not at all.
No, I agree.
If you have a moment, all you would need is 5 minutes of conversation.
The documentary on Netflix is called The Crash, Terry. But yeah, I mean, the mom just goes on and on and on about how much Mackenzie loved Dom, and it's just so off-putting. Her entire, I don't know, anything about the victims at all during this victim impact statements. I mean, you're begging for leniency, I guess, but no. I want to hear Do. She wanted to be like Regina George. Weird. All right. So this is the entire video that we're going to watch um of the vehicle. So what we're going to see is the car driving normally, has her blinker on, headlights on, takes this right-hand turn perfectly normal and great, and the next it's going to cut to the high speed portion. I don't know if this has got the sound to it or not, but we're gonna watch it. There's no sound to it. Can you guys see that okay? It's probably a better version, but there it goes around the corner. She had her signal light on, you know, and then you're gonna see her come up. There she goes. Woo! And then right there is the point of impact. That's crazy. It's crazy. So then if I go ahead and um Mackenzie Shirilla TikToks. Hmm. There we go. This is all of her reckless driving TikToks before. It's ridiculous. And tell me her parents didn't know. And they still allowed her to drive, gave her a car.
Like a NASCAR, pull up in a fast car, pull up in a Jaguar. Fast, yeah, you know I'm a blast, yeah. That's what I'm
I'm not gonna play the sound. I'll be copyright struck. But we can see this. We can see this crap. This is all part of the discovery that the prosecution used, right? I mean, I'll get copyright struck if I do that. But you can search on YouTube for her reckless driving videos. Just some of her voiceovers are totally disrespectful. Um, yeah. Just keep watching. Over and over again, she's 100% focused on herself. Oh, man. It's ridiculous. Not 100% sure. Like I know she's very small, very petite. Um, However, I don't think that you have to be a big, large person to drive your vehicle into a brick wall. And I think she possibly, because she had threatened, there were other occasions in the past, in the recent past, that she had either claimed Dom was trying to grab the wheel or whatever, kill them in the vehicle, or that she had threatened to get into an accident and end his life. So, and that all played into the guilty verdict, right? So they made their choices, not the parents. But the thing, little mama, for me is that they condoned and were perfectly supportive of her habit to smoke marijuana and eat mushrooms. They knew that it's here on her TikTok. There are many, many, many videos on her TikTok of her smoking weed while driving at excessive speeds, and her parents still gave her a car. And not, It's okay. It's okay. It's very possible that she really doesn't remember the crash. It is possible, but to try to blame it on some disorder that she may or may not have had, um, not taking any accountability for ending two people's lives. Um, I think that it's a problem. She was 17, Bev, at this time. 17. Teeny tiny. Tiny little thing. Like, yeah. Is it still playing music? Yep. In the Netflix documentary, there is a lot of TikToks and Instagram posts where she is clearly smoking like a lot of weed. Like a lot of weed. It's just, it's sad, anyways. It's sad. If you can't see the disorder in this girl, you willfully blind. I agree. And then this one here, you guys, this is so the crash happened in July. This is October after the crash. She decided to dress up as a zombie.
Few weeks after the incident, Mackenzie left the hospital and returned to her normal life. She thought everyone concluded the crash was the result of a brutal accident and nothing further. It was even reported Mackenzie and her mother had applied to a Los Angeles modeling agency and had fully moved past the incident. What's even more disturbing is, on the Halloween of 2022, Mackenzie went to her first party since the crash. And her Halloween costume? A detailed corpse with fake blood smeared across her mouth. Mackenzie's parents even approved of this morbid outfit and said Mackenzie, quote, deserved some fun after the crash. It almost felt like Mackenzie was almost trying to let people know the crash had malicious intent, and she wanted to rub it into the world that she got away with her crimes. But little to her knowledge, detectives were working around the clock to figure out what really happened the night of the crash, and they would find far more than they could have ever expected.
Fair. And then the last one that I want to watch is which one? Which one? Mackenzie, Shirilla, body cam. Do. Shorts, TMZ. Got to stay away from TMZ. All right. Here we go. Trigger warning for some.
Protocol pending. 48-year-old female possible overdose. Conscious breathing alert. Questions out.
We ain't going on, okay? Okay, 21's gonna go. Hold on. 31's gonna go.
I have 2131. They said that there are clearance now. And that the female slapped the caller while he was rambling, not making sense.
What's your name, dear? Mackenzie, okay. All right. 5-7 radio.
Go ahead.
You have Mackenzie's information, correct?
That's for me.
That's our driver.
Got me.
She sent one of her friends. His name is Tom. I don't know which one it was. I don't know what you.
Down. No. Thanks. Yeah. Don't tell her.
The other guy's DOA, that would take $100.
I need to talk to you. This is going to be over there. Where are we? We're going. He's driving.
Yeah.
We're dead. I mean,
Well, I don't know if she's intoxicated.
Right,
We don't
but
know.
we don't have
that-
that's a detective thing, right? All that charges and stuff.
She's 17, so it would be a juvenile.
Okay, that's where. Okay.
So, however, the driving portion, you can do an OBI on. It's in fact alcohol. Now, you won't probably be able to even get really talk to her because she's gonna be at Metro.
Are we even site wise? We don't have to cite in this
No,
situation.
not-
Okay, that's where I'm at for a report. Let me grab it. Want me to grab it? Nope. Should go on the plate.
No.
All right.
Well,
Confirm with the captain. We got a bird in route. Hey, life flight's here. I think she's here for her.
So disturbing. Where's the one? There's got to be the one where they first arrived on scene, and it was like an hour later. It was like an hour later. I need that video when I get out of jail. Slender also has some really good coverage. She's got a lot of the jail phone calls. There's actually a channel called Phone Calls from Jail. I haven't watched it yet. I caught a little bit of one, but not all of them. So, anyways, what I'm looking at for is the initial when the police first arrive and they're like sprinting to the vehicle across the field and they're sprinting and they have to bang the window. They have to try to break the window to get in, and he sees at least two people in the vehicle, and then when he realizes there's three, he doesn't think any of them are breathing. It's just another layer of trauma that this girl caused. I mean, it's really gross. Everything about her is just gross. And to think my thing is like a lot of times when there's a Netflix documentary made about a case, there is a lot of public sympathy for these people. And I don't know, I really want to put I would like to be part of making sure people realize she is no victim. She is absolutely no victim. Maybe I'll watch that one because there is a woman who spent time in jail at the same time that Mackenzie was in there. And you have to watch the documentary first to make most of this make sense. But there's just a 4-minute law and crime. Former co-inmate. Said disturbing text to boyfriend before murder. Okay. I'll do this one. I don't know. You guys, it's all so good. Go watch Vinny. Go watch all of these people. Okay, let's just watch this one for now, and then I'll show you Dom's sister's YouTube, and then we'll move on for the day.
more of Mackenzie Shirilla. I am wondering, is this what you expected? I mean, do they help explain more of her relationship? Does it help explain more of Mackenzie Shirilla, or does it still leave unanswered questions for you?
I thought she was a psychotic, cold-blooded murderer, and I think these text messages just confirm that. Like, she does not appear to be in a healthy state of mind. I think she seems very erratic. I think, from some of the behavior we've seen with the body cam footage, with the students that have gone to school with her that have now started to speak out, I think this is very in line with the toxic relationship we've seen between the two.
And Donna, in that vein, there's a new report from People magazine. It's about this jail call where Mackenzie Shirilla allegedly discussed all the media attention around her case and how she wanted Kim Kardashian to be her lawyer. I mean, you listened to it. What did you hear? What did it tell you about it?
It's almost shocking to listen to because they're giddy. The mom is talking to the daughter and saying, you won't believe it. The UK they know about our case. Daily Mail is reading about it. And I think that Kim Kardashian, I think Mackenzie says, maybe Kim Kardashian will take this on because they actually not only think that this is so exciting that they're becoming famous for this, but also they see themselves as innocent. Kim Kardashian, attaches herself to innocent victims who are in jail. She sees herself as innocent and like wrongly jailed still after all of this. But Kim Kardashian has passed. That came out today. Kim Kardashian came out and said, I am passing on that.
And I wonder, I got to tell you, Zach, I wonder if it's the documentary, right? Because it's a mix, right? I'll tell you, I spoke to somebody who watched it, and as they were watching it, the first 20 minutes, they were like, oh my gosh, I think she didn't mean to do this. I think, she was wrongfully charged. By the end of it, and particularly after the last part where that her lawyer is like sitting in on the conversation that she does in prison, they had a totally different perspective on it. Like, where do you think this documentary is shaping the discourse? Because I know that there's a lot of people out there who believe Mackenzie Shirilla is innocent.
I mean, I'm waiting for that compelling evidence or, narrative outside of what her parents are trying to peddle in the media to convince me. I saw like the body cam footage of the mom getting the news. I saw a lot of that even before I watched the Netflix documentary. As it was gaining hype, before I even tuned in, I started digging into this case and even dug a lot further than Netflix. And I just think that the case is really overwhelming against her. And the fact that they're still trying to, I appreciate the parents' delusion in believing their daughter and wanting to fight for her innocence, but I don't think Kim Kardashian or anybody can save her at this point. I think the evidence is pretty overwhelming, in my opinion.
Donna, what's your take on it, right? Because Mackenzie, in this documentary, was talking about pot. She was talking about she feels remorseful. She said there was no intent. She wanted to be very clear on no intent. And, a lot of it was about her behavior after the crash and that she dressed up like a skeleton, she was going to concerts, and her mother, I think at one point had said, look, she was just trying to have fun afterwards, trying to have a normal life. How do you see it?
I find her to be despicable. This is my own personal opinion. I find her to be so unlikable. I watched it with my husband and we both said, like, I don't think I hate to say it, but hated a person on a documentary, a true crime documentary, as much as her and her parents, the way that they handled this from top to bottom. And I don't feel there is I think the only reason that there are a couple people that question her guilt and maybe think that she's innocent is because why would she put herself through this? Why would she crash a car with her in it rather than commit a crime to just murder her boyfriend or whatever? That is the only thing. But I think her mind, clearly she was an erratic, crazy thinking person. I don't think she was thinking straight, and I don't think she did think straight.
Look, I can't get into her mind, but I think there's a fair argument she didn't think she would survive this. I mean, I think that's fair to say if you look at those messages and you think about what she was found guilty of. Look, it's just another disturbing layer to an already disturbing case. But Zach and Donna, thank you so much for taking the time to explain a little bit more about it and put it into context for us. It's good to see you both.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Interesting, hey? So again, the documentary is called Crash. The Crash on Netflix. I'm sure if you searched YouTube, you can find excerpts of it if you can't watch that, then I really suggest going and watching Annie Elise's coverage of the case. She did episodes like more than a year ago, and then she's done 2 really thorough episodes recently on the case. And that's where you're gonna get the information if you can't go and watch that documentary. But again, pretty much everything that's in the documentary is in pieces, but it's all over YouTube. And like I said, I want to show you first before we go, the Big Sister Unhinged. I would like to. This is Dom's sister. This is his big sister. She is also in the documentary. This is just, she has basically started this podcast channel to get support to shut down the Free Mackenzie movement. There are a lot of people, and I do agree that if there has been evidence that wasn't brought into trial, but that the prosecution knew about, then she does deserve a new trial. She absolutely does. But in my opinion, make no mistake, this was not a medical episode. The black box information, and go watch Vinny Politan on Court TV. His episode he did 2 days ago on this. And then anything on Law and Crime recently. They talk about it all. They do. They talk about it all. The black box information that collects the data from the vehicle's performance, 100 miles an hour, pedal to the metal, the car shifted into neutral and then back into drive. It almost seems like there might have been some kind of a struggle in the car. Davion was a new friend to the group. There was no, even if their relationship was toxic and this was some murder-suicide kind of thing, there was this third party in the back seat. None of the men deserved this. Dom and Davion, neither one of them deserved it. But he wasn't involved in any of their toxicity. So I don't. I don't. It was a slipper and it wasn't glued. It was, the prosecutor said that the slipper had been wedged there. So again, you guys, we'll talk about it again. Like I watched this, wasn't last night, it was the night before, and I was totally bedridden. But I watched it in bed, and then the next day I was just like, what did I just watch? So I spent the day yesterday, again on the couch, just watching different coverage of the case. And yeah. So it's messed up. No, I don't think so. But people, wasn't that Dom was abusive. She was saying, well, her text messages and videos and stuff. This new piece showed that Dom had tried to grab a steering wheel or something in the past, and allegedly the prosecutor had that and didn't give it over. I don't think it was abusive though. Was it, Peace Spice? I don't know. I don't think so. But I would like to point out that the whole relationship and everything that we've heard, and granted, we've heard a lot of hate towards Mackenzie. But everything that I've heard so far has all been Mackenzie's abuse and her toxicity placed on Dominic. So that just, and I mean, that's another aspect of it. So here we go with domestic violence. Absolutely. But now we're looking at maybe possibly a male victim, or the woman is the perpetrator of domestic violence, and men don't speak out. It's not normal for men to speak out saying that I've been abused. All right, look who decided to come in. Come here, Harley. Come here. Come here. He's sniffing his food bowl. I don't even know why. I don't know what he's doing. He's getting a drink. Just a minute. Did she try to hit one side of the car? It looks that way, but if you watch the video, the surveillance video, you can see the car do a slight movement and then clearly loses control. So I don't know if she could control it going in on that side, but it definitely hit the perfect spot to end the two men inside and basically, you know, break her leg. Come here. Say hi to your fans, Harley. Say hello, people. Hello, my friends. Hello, people. So, I would like to say to Maritzka, make sure you have all your paperwork and you will be just fine. I don't know everything that Joe's saying, but he's fear mongering. I go to the States and I'm not afraid. Just buy yourself a Trump chocolate bar, flash it on your way out, you'll be fine. Or whatever you're worried about. All right. So 2 hours, 36 minutes. Thank you for everybody for being here. I can't believe I had 270 people in here. What? Great to see everybody today. I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to look into what Sea Legal showed me. I really want to look at some more cases, never leaving Jack and Lily in the rear view, not at all. But maybe we can talk Roots into doing another template for us to send letters for fresh eyes on the case. Yes, no, absolutely. There are, but if you overstay where like how long you're supposed to be in there, then you might have problems. But I'm saying stick to your cruise trip, stick to your itinerary, make sure all your paperwork's there. You're gonna be just fine, Maritzka. Canada will welcome you, and I'm sure if you don't stay too long, Trump will have you back too. I don't know. And have a beautiful evening, everybody. We'll talk soon. Sunny, I believe, is live in like 20 minutes. She's got Alexa, the former profiler. And right on. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for the memberships again. Have a great night.